Welcome to practice. I'm Donna Cavanough, and we're going to begin today laying down and having a towel or a blanket to make a long, narrow shape for under the shoulder blades would be ideal. Of course, you could lie flat if you don't have a blanket, but to take a little bit of padding and extra self-care. So when you lay down, put the support across your body under the shoulder blades. And it should feel like your neck is long when you reach to the floor and not squashed. So you want the back of the neck to feel long without squashing the little spaces between the bones. And then we're going to bring the focus to the breath. What the support is doing is really making more space, more broadness in the front ribs, in all those little joints between your breastbone and the ribs. And so there's more room to really feel what the lungs are doing with each breath. And of course, each of us breathes. We all have our own rhythm and particular needs of breath. And yet all of us are breathing our breath. Each person and the more than human world. So feeling you're part of that great breath. I've got my legs parallel and hip width and my feet parallel. You could add a little to that movement if it feels okay and do the soles of the feet together and the knees out wide. And the arms overhead. And still finding your connection to that great breath. Feeling expansive in your body because of the shape of the equipment under your back. What does it feel like to connect to your breath? To let the concerns of the mind rest for this practice. To bring your focus to your breathing and to how your body feels. Maybe this position feels awkward or challenging, possibly relieving in some way. And keeping that intention of focusing on the breath and the feeling, the sensation of the body. We're going to bend in the arms and the legs and roll over to the side. And come into all fours. Giving your fingers a big stretch, pressing the fingerprints down and arching the spine up and down. You might find that you can follow your breath with the movement. Tuck your toes under and come up into downward facing dog pose. So we want to really press the fingerprints and try to keep the weight out of the heels of the hands. And really express lengthening here through the arms and the shoulders, through the spine, through the back of the legs as you press the heels. And let the head just relax. Breathing deeply, noticing how that feels. How does the body feel? Good. We're going to step the right knee forward towards the right wrist in that direction, and then back into downward facing dog pose. And the left knee forward towards the left wrist, and then back into downward facing dog pose. Beautiful. Come into a seated position. It could be kneeling, where you can stretch your wrists the other way. So we're going to put the backs of the hands onto the floor and just gently massaging your hands and wrists. You can turn your fingers out, even trying to make a sort of a circle, whatever your movement allows. But stretching through the back, the opposite that we do in downward facing dog pose. Beautiful. And then either sitting with your feet out in front or kneeling, interlock your fingers gently and just making a figure 8 with your knuckles so that the wrists are moving. Aware of your breath. All those little subtle movements of the wrist. Nice work. All right, we're going to bring the forearms to the floor now. And take the knees back, so a little further than the hips. And we're going to arch the spine up and down again. You might realize the core of the body has to work a little harder here. So as you're exhaling, lifting the spine, lift the core of the body, chin to the chest. Beautiful. Find a neutral position for your back and your shoulders. Try to have your elbows shoulder width, so your forearms are parallel, and walk your knees back a little bit further so that we're in a modified plank position. The shoulders are over the elbows. We drop the hips to make a straight line from the knees through the hips to the shoulders. We're really lifting the front core of the body. And we're going to gently sway the hips side to side. Connecting to your breath. Feel the core of the body stabilizing. Beautiful. Let yourself lay your tummy down So you can press back up into your all fours position, arching the spine just up and down. As you lift the spine, that's an exhalation. Draw the core of the body up. As you inhale, letting the spine towards the floor and letting the belly expand. Follow your breath. Press the fingerprint, base of the index finger. Good. Now, if we take the knees and hands further from each other, so walk the knees back, hands forward a little, you've got more room. We're going to still do the forward and back movement of the spine, but we're going to turn it into a wave. So taking the hips back as far as you need, lifting the chest as far as feels good, and you can bend your elbows to give yourself more room to move. It doesn't have to be an exaggerated movement. You might feel like you really can connect to moving every joint with a small movement, subtle. Find the flow of your breath and the flow of your movement. Nice work. And then you're going to rest your hand, your arm in child pose. Feeling the back of the torso broad as you let your shoulders relax. And feel the volume of the breath. The wave-like movement of the breath. Its ebb and flow. Stretch your arms all the way forward, Virasana. Let the bones of the spine between the shoulder blades embed forward. We began the practice with the blanket under that part of the spine. Great. Lift the hips now. So we want to put the knees hip width, the hips over the knees, and walk your hands further forward. So we're going to stretch the chest towards the floor, and the armpits will open, and we take it gently for the shoulders. And again, really bringing the focus to that part of the spine between the shoulder blades. Can you bring that spine further towards the front of the chest towards the floor? Feeling the flow of breath. Nice work. And bring the knees forward. We're going to come back up into downward facing dog. So stretching your fingers nice and wide, pressing the fingerprints down. Expressing lengthening here through the back of the legs, through the shoulders, the sides of the waist, the neck. Right knee walks forward towards the right wrist and back, downward facing dog pose. Left knee forward towards the left wrist and back, downward facing dog pose. And we're going to keep going. Really try to bring the weight forward into your fingerprints. finding the flow of your breath. Good. We're going to finish with the left knee towards the left wrist, and then come back and rest into child's pose. Letting the hands relax, squeeze them and release, squeeze them and release. Shoulders relax. Feeling the wave of breath. Beautiful. Lifting the hips, knees, hip width, hands forward to give yourself a nice big distance again, and chest, armpits towards the floor. Let the shoulders broaden, the collarbones broaden, make space for the shoulders. Not forcing here, but listening to your body. Finding the bones of the spine and letting them feel heavy, embedding forward. Beautiful. And lifting up. And we're going to walk the hands back, and kneeling up. You can always put a blanket under your knees if you find this difficult. We're going to step the right foot forward. So we're in a long lunge with the back knee on the mat, and really lunge the hips forward. Good. Now we're going to wiggle the right foot out to the side of the mat, the right side of the mat. So you can put your hands on the floor under your shoulders. I'm just going to rock a little bit the hips from side to side. Try to embed the bones of the spine forward so you can look up. Ooh. Nice work. And then we're going to swap sides. See if you can keep your balance. So if you bring your hands off the floor, can you step that foot back so that you land on your knee? Ooh. And then left foot forward. Beautiful. And if you wiggle your left foot out towards the edge of the mat, you'll have room to put your hands under your shoulders. And we lunge the hip forward. You want to get as much movement as your body allows here. And we bring the bones of the spine forward. Ooh, feels so much better. Good. And then we're going to rock a little bit from side to side. It can be a small movement. Might have a big influence. Whatever feels good. Finding each breath. Beautiful. See if you can balance, so lifting up to bring that knee back. It might be a little unwieldy. Great. Now we're going to kneel up again and bring the right foot forward. And this time in our lunge, we're going to tuck the toes under of the left foot and lift the left knee off the floor. So I'm going to keep my right foot in line with my right rib. So put your hands how it supports you to bring the bones of the spine forward. And the more that you can lunge the hips forward, the better that feeling will be in the spine. Great. And then what we're going to do is let the pelvis be heavy to the left. So just tip it down to the left hip towards the floor, and look back over your right shoulder. Good. And then you try to tip the right hip down. You might have to let your right knee fall out to the right side so you can look back over your left shoulder. And we're going to go from side to side with that. Nice work. Release your left knee to the floor. So you're kneeling back up and give your swapping legs a go. Trying to find your balance. Nice. All right. So lunge the hips forward as far as you can. Tuck your right toes under and lift the right knee off the floor. Beautiful. All right. We'll drop the right hip towards the floor. So your torso turns left and you look back over the left shoulder. Good. And then if we let the left knee fall out, drop the left hip towards the floor and look back over the right shoulder. So that's the movement from side to side. Beautiful. Lower your right knee to the floor and bringing both knees back. And we're going to rest into child's pose. Mm. Mm. Finding the flow of breath. Mm. Great. We're going to come up to standing. So I'm going to try that from kneeling, tucking the toes under and standing. But come up to standing however your body needs to move. Sometimes you need to use momentum or a chair. Taking a classic Tadasana posture. The inside edges of the feet together. Lifting the front of the thighs, front of the hips, the belly, the breastbone. And we're going to take the arms up and look up. Urdhva lengthening the sides of the waist. Beautiful. And then a little Uttanasana, not all the way. Bend your knees, bring your hands onto your thighs and reach the torso forward rather than down. Reach the bones of the spine forward. Connect to the flow of breath. To the feeling of the legs starting to stretch, but the spine feeling at ease. And then keep reaching your torso forward, increasing the stretch in the leg and enjoying the ease in your spine. We're going to release the arms so you can take them behind you. So arms by the sides of your body, arms facing up, like a diving position. Really reaching fingers back, shoulders away from the ear. And the legs are stretching. And you're connecting to the flow of breath. Nice work. Now we're going to bend the knees, lift the torso, bring the hands in front of your heart. And we're in a preparation for powerful pose. So the knees are bent. Can you support your spine feeling as healthy as it can, as long and strongly supported as you can, by lifting more of the front core of the body, lengthening the side cores of the body, drawing the shoulder blades down, and press the bones of the spine forward towards your thumbs. Your hands for your heart. I might have forgotten to say that. Finding the flow of your breath. Nice work. Now you can be as deep in the bend of your legs as your legs are comfortable with. So it can even be a tiny little bend if you're vulnerable in your knees, but really lifting your quadriceps, the front of the thigh. Bring your arms by your ears. And straightening your legs. And release. And here we are back in mountain pose. Beautiful. Now we're going to stamp the feet out to a wide-legged position. Jumping, stamping, and turn the toes in. Take a little bit of a back bend. And then taking a forward bend, hands underneath your shoulders. Let's really straighten through the legs as much as you can. So outside edges of the feet press down, inner arches of the feet lift, straighten the legs by lifting the quadriceps. Now, if that hurts your knees, bend your legs but lift the quadriceps. Lifting the sit bones. Beautiful, embedding the bones of the spine forward and connecting to the flow of your breath. And then walk the hands forward as far as you can. Letting the chest move towards the floor. So feeling the strength in your legs, your knees are supported by strong thigh muscles, lifting them. We're going to take the right arm across towards the left foot. And you might hold on to your foot or toe or just reach along the mat. And we'll turn the ribs so the left ribs lift towards the ceiling. And you're looking under your left armpit. Ooh. Lengthening the torso forward and turning. Strong legs, keep them strong, keep your knees supported. Beautiful, don't grip your toes. How does she know? Come back to center, stretch the arms forward. Take the left hand now and reach along your mat towards your right foot. You might be able to hold part of your foot or reach on the sticky mat. Turning the ribs, the right ribs lifting, looking under the right armpit and lifting kneecaps, lifting quadriceps, lifting sit bones. Whoa. Connecting to your breath. Beautiful. And back to center. I'm going to jump into a sitting position from here, but you might take a few extra movements to land in a seat on your mat. And sitting onto a blanket. A little bit of forward movement for the hips. And we're going to wave the spine forward. Actually, hold your hips, the fingers at the front of the pelvis, the thumb at the back, and see if you can get your wave to begin with the tilt of the pelvis. So the pelvis tilts forward, then the belly moves forward, chest, and then the face, and then tilt the pelvis back, lower back moves back, middle back, back of the neck, back of the head. And then we tilt the pelvis forward. So you're leading the wave with the tilt of the pelvis. So we bring the emphasis to the movement of the pelvis for the forward bend motion. Connecting to your flow of breath. And even if the movement feels subtle, doesn't have to be an exaggerated or big movement for your brain to be listening to your body. Beautiful. Tip the pelvis forward as far as it will tip forward. And then put your hands where they make sense to support your long spine. So you might be sitting up, you might have reached forward, whatever makes sense. And we bring the bones of the spine forward, lengthening the waist. Beautiful. Let's tip the pelvis back and wave the spine up and swap the cross of the leg. Tip the pelvis forward, so the top of the pelvis tip forward, and let the spine follow to wherever your forward bend movement is. It might be upright, maybe a little way forward. Bringing the bones of the spine forward. And expressing that lengthening of the spine. Tip the pelvis back, wave the spine all the way up. Nice work. We're going to take the feet out wide. So you want your heels as wide as they'll go, your knees as wide as they'll go, and tip your knees to the left. Okay, so far so good. So what we have on the floor is the Hindu peace sign, or half of it. And we've got the knees sort of making 90-degree angles. All right, now the tricky bit is swapping sides. We tipped our legs to the left. Pick up your right knee, and before you start moving the left leg, move the right leg as far as you can from the left leg. So we're trying to make the maximum distance from knee to knee. You can see there's much more work happening in the hips if you do it like this. All right, and when you've gone as far as you possibly can, then start to follow with your left knee, but keep the distance as much as you can between the knees. All right, so when we go back to the second side, we're going to lift the left knee, lift it, but keep the distance between the legs. And only when you've gone as far as you can, start to follow with the right knee, but keep the distance for as much as you can. Eventually the distance closes as the leg relaxes down. All right, so keep going from side to side. I always walk forward, bottom hopping. From side to side. So keep the distance as much as you can between the knees. It's much more effective work for the hip. Otherwise, we're just swinging around, really using momentum and the little muscles of the spine. We want to be using our hips more and keeping nice spine, strong core. Good. This is a very important movement for a healthy hip. Lovely work. And then come back to your blanket and take a seat for a moment so that you can just feel what's gone on in the body. Tuning in again. Sometimes a new movement or something that's awkward or challenging just sends the mind off into chat space. So just noticing any sensation, maybe your hips are warm. Noticing your breath. Beautiful. And then we're going to lay down. So you have the flat floor under your spine, your head and your pelvis. And there's alignment. Your legs could be just neutral here. It's the easiest on your back. And that neutral means parallel, hip width and parallel. So just noticing what that feels like for your back. And this simple posture can be so relieving if you find that you've strained your back or just overdone it. It can be a beautiful place to just tune in to your body. We're going to add a little floor twist to bring your arms out from your shoulders. And we're going to do feet off the floor, unless your back is tender, and then you could keep your feet on the floor. With the feet off the floor, we have to engage the core of the body for the whole process. If you've got your feet on the floor, you can be a little more relaxed, but always keep that core awareness so you're moving your spine with lots of muscular support. Good. We're going to lift the hips and swing them left, and the knees and the legs are going to go right, and really use your core to lower them towards the floor and to lift them back up. Ooh, beautiful. And then lift the hips and swing them right, and knees and legs go left. You can look over your right shoulder and really using the core of the body to lift. Nice work. And lift the hips, they go left, and knees and legs go right, and you can look over the left shoulder, and we're really feeling strong in the core body. Beautiful. So the spine is moving with lots of support. Feeling strong. Side to side, keep going. You can do this with your legs a little bit straighter. They don't have to be all the way to straight. You can be curious and just see. You might not be able to take your legs all the way to the floor when they're straighter. So really tuning in what feels like it's really doing good. What is nourishing? And we try to keep the upper body relaxed. So always check in. Are you really employing the muscle around the heart to try and lift your legs? Use the lower core of the body. Good. We're going to come back to center and hug the knees in. Let's take that neutral position for the spine again. Feet on the floor, hip width parallel, legs parallel. So here we are, supported. Able to breathe effectively, satisfyingly. Appreciating each breath. Bring your left foot off the floor and take hold of your left foot with your right hand. And we're going to try and straighten that left leg, but still holding with your hand. So it might not go all the way to straight, but so you can feel that stretch in the back of the left leg. And just gently roll the lower half of your body to the right. Try to keep your left shoulder blade on the floor. And your left leg as straight as you're comfortable with. Lovely. Using your core awareness and lifting back up. Place the left foot back down on the floor. Right foot lifts, and we hold the right foot with the left hand. And Then try to straighten your right leg, still holding your foot. It won't go all the way to straight, but just as far as you can. Get that lovely stretch right into the back of the hip joint. Good. And then lower half of the body goes left. Right shoulder blade stays on the floor. Get as much stretch as feels good. Bringing the leg back to center and hugging your knees into your chest and taking a moment. Shavasana, people, if you'd like to stay, lay your legs out straight. If you need to finish your practice, rolling to your right side and coming up to sitting. And namaste to you. You're staying for Shavasana and you put your legs out straight and there's any feeling of pulling in your lower back, then take your blanket and put it underneath your thighs. If you lay down on the floor and it feels like you have to squash the back of the neck to reach your head back to the floor, then put a little support under your head until we find ourselves supported, and look for balance from side to side of the pelvis. Sometimes it takes a little bit of wriggling and adjustment to really find that you feel balanced. Upper arms rolling out and palms open to the sky. Body supported, albeit there's a building around us in general, but above the building is sky. Below the building is earth. And all around, and even inside, of course, is the breath. The great breath. As each place in the body is mentioned, bring your focus to that part of yourself. Appreciating that part of yourself. Noticing how it feels. Wrapped in this great breath. Your toes. And your feet. Soles of your feet. Your heels. And ankles. Your lower leg. And knees. Thighs. hips. Belly. Buttocks. Lower back. Middle back. Between the shoulder blades. And between the shoulders. Back rib. Side rib. And the front rib. The lungs moving. The heart beating. And feeling now your shoulders, your upper arm. Your forearm, wrist and thumb, fingers, palm. Back of your neck and throat. Base of your skull. Scalp. Forehead. Around your eyebrows, and between them, around your eyes. Nose and mouth. Lips and tongue. Mm. Jaw, ears. Now your whole body, holding your whole body in the focus of your awareness. Breath by breath. Sense the substance of your body, its density, the way you feel supported by the floor. Feeling the flow of your breath. And as you move out of stillness, feel the flow of each movement, the small movements of the hands and feet, the larger movements of the larger limbs, and the torso as you roll to the right and come up to sitting. And taking a seat with your hands in front of your heart, palms together. Take the feeling of the practice with you. Namaste.